This video is going to be a film study look at Jack Campbell's 2024 season, his second year with the Detroit Lions through 5 games. I think he's an extremely smart run defender. I'm going to circle back to that point here in a moment. He's obviously very physical, tough. He's got great size, takes on blocks in a textbook fashion oftentimes. I think I'll highlight this. I'll highlight that element of his game throughout the video here. But he's also extremely smart about his run fits. At times you can say he looks natural as a run fitter, but I think he's got to be extremely well trained, whether it was high school, college, and in his time with the Lions, because he arrives at the line of scrimmage at the correct moment as well, or wherever the fit is. It's oftentimes not the line of scrimmage. It could be a yard or two past the line of scrimmage. Depends on the angle of the running back, depends on the blocking scheme, and how well the offensive line, in fact, blocks the front for the Detroit Lions. Yes, every run defender for the Lions from an inside linebacker standpoint is aided or helped by DJ Reader's presence. Absolutely co-sign that. But Jack Campbell, even going back to his rookie year, is really good at fitting not just in the correct location, but matching the running back's arrival to the gap that he chooses. I may not be able to explain it in a cohesive manner enough for you. Hopefully the film can illustrate that point. In terms of as a pass defender, I think he's got better range. I think that's an underrated element to his game. I think there's times where he gets in the window of the quarterback's progression and the quarterback moves on to the next read because Jack Campbell is in that window. I think he carries his power with his range as a tackler. Good tackler. I think that's quite obvious. I'm not focused on stats, overall tackles, passes defense, sacks. I'm certainly not focused on rating services that try to tell me how good an inside linebacker is playing. I know what I'm looking at on film. The gameplay, he's heavily involved in what Detroit does. Now, they do take him out on certain passing downs. That's for Malcolm Rodriguez, who's an underrated football player in his own right. And then Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who's got a strength, if you ask me, of, first of all, playing on special teams, but second of all, pass coverage as an inside linebacker, particularly to the boundary at times. So I understand that people want to focus on that. I've got film here of Campbell basically from week 1, week 4, and then last week against the Cowboys that I want to focus on. I think he's better in coverage than people want to give him credit for. So this is first quarter, week 1 against the Rams. Campbell is going to be middle of the field here, and he's going to react to the quarterback on pass. You can see he hedged over to this side initially, and now Stafford has already worked back to the other side. So Campbell's going to redirect. He's actually going to get in the window, and Stafford went through it really quickly. I'll run it back again. Stafford went through the reads really fast. This is actually, I think, first possession where Anzalone had 2 tackles for loss. Try to pause it at the moment that Stafford looks so you guys can see it initially. Ball snapped. Look in here, and that's what kind of moves Campbell in that direction. It looks slight pump fake, but the defensive lineman or outside linebacker Barnes dropped in the window, the snag concept, so Stafford moved on. As a result, Campbell redirects back to that side, and Stafford has already moved away from this read and has come back to the running back to the top side. He's got to his third read pretty quickly, if you ask me. Anzalone feeds off of Stafford's reaction or Stafford's eyes and then tackles the running back Williams really quickly for a second tackle for loss on the first possession. A couple of run fits here. He's located at Mike linebacker in pretty much all of these instances. I think this is the one with a poor snap or a snap that Stafford kind of fumbles a little bit. Maybe it's the next play. But he fits things extremely well, number 1. Number 2, he also knows how to maintain his gap even when the running back is perhaps committed to another area. He doesn't betray his gap in a manner that leaves an opening for the running back to cut back into. I think you get an idea of what I'm talking about from the end zone angle here for this one. 11 personnel, you've got trips to this side. Tight end, nobody back here. I think the Lions are playing man, and Anzalone is on the tight end here to the boundary. So his run fit or run read is a little bit different. Really good at getting his hands on people and then shedding the block to the play side such that he can get involved in a lot of these 2 and 3, and in this case, I think it's a 4-yard gain play. Run through here, 11 personnel. This is the one with a bad snap that Stafford kind of has difficulty handling at least. Takes a great alignment. Additionally, works with Derek Barnes. Barnes outside the tight end in terms of a run fit. You can see Barnes' apex alignment. So you got the right tackle. Let's do this from his feet. Got the right tackle's feet forming a triangle with the inside foot of the receiver, the number 2 receiver. So Barnes is at the apex of that triangle. I drew that straight enough for you to understand that. So as this tight end motions over, creating trips, or essentially a bunch, Barnes fits on the outside. So we would say to our kids, to our players, you made the play, meaning Barnes. You made the play because you forced the running back inside, and Campbell showed up, gets credit for the tackle. We always wanted to highlight someone who made the play as a force player, as an inside outfitter. It's a tackle for loss. Carlton Davis III is involved there, obviously, as well. The Lions make heavy use of this 4-eye, and I will reference this a little bit later on in the video. 4-eye means inside shade of the tackle, and then a zero technique nose. Badass if you have a nose tackle who can two-gap. Guess what? The Detroit Lions do in DJ Reader. So it's a great concept. Allows inside linebackers to kind of flow over the top, fast flow. And you can see Campbell beating the tackle easily. He had a great alignment. He basically defeated the tackle's block by alignment. Him and Carlton Davis III finish it off. Physical football play. I think he's really good against the run. I feel like the film kind of says that, explains that probably even better than I will. I love this play by Pecco, who is unfortunately out for the year at this point. Campbell is kind of the beneficiary a little bit. It's an easy run, one of the easier run fits for him in that he's unblocked. They combo up to the front side inside linebacker, which is Anzalone. Pecco's on the ground here, and he's the guy who dives. Incredible effort. I think he actually got hurt on this play as well. Offensive lineman kind of landed on him, maybe his knee in like the back of his back. Because of the motion, they've gapped over from the boundary. And it's really impossible for anybody to get to Campbell if they're going to combo up to the front side inside backer Anzalone. So he certainly has a free hitter here for a tackle for loss. I did not think against run game for large stretches. This is going to be his forced fumble, and I really want to illustrate this one as far as the range of impact that he has. So he's the field side inside linebacker generally when him and Anzalone are on the field. Quick game slant to DK, and here is Campbell all the way on the other side of the field. You can see Anzalone holding on. Safety trying to finish DK off. They can't. And huge had fumble issues before, but you have to be if you're going to dislodge the football from someone who's as powerful as DK Metcalf is. You're going to lose Campbell off screen here in a moment, which kind of goes to my point in that he's got great range. Anzalone holding on to the jersey. And then Campbell's collision, because he's excited. What it does is it stresses you as an inside linebacker. So there's a lot going on here. I'm going to pause it here in a moment and just talk over an element to it. So you see 4 receivers, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and a receiver involved here. 3 coverage guys at the second level for the Lions and a safety up here to the top side. How are 3 guys supposed to cover 4? Well, they can't. In this case, Campbell kind of hedged towards this drag, Anzalone towards that drag, and then the underneath sit route to the tight end wide open like it should be once everything sorts itself out underneath. I'm not saying that mesh can't be defended, although there are offensive coordinators and passing game coordinators and people I know who think that it is, in fact, a foolproof play. At some point, safety's got to get involved if you can identify mesh. There's no reason for you as a safety to be sitting there so high when 2 disappears and 1's going to be covered. The new number 1, the running back, is going to be covered by the corner. So 2 is disappearing, running a drag, and the original number 1 is the tight end that's going to go sit in the middle of the field. That, to me, is not the responsibility of these inside linebackers in this particular coverage. You can have coverages where those guys will be responsible for the low hole dropper in the middle of the field. It's a mesh concept, difficult to defend. I don't blame it on Anzalone or Jack Campbell. I just blame it on the way that they were playing that particular coverage. Mesh is a difficult concept to defend. All right, this is going to be a fun one to break down until of it in a moment. In my opinion, you've got man here on the tight end, man here on this tight end, man on the running back, and then man on the outside there. These guys are signaling to each other. Campbell and Anzalone signal something with their palms up to the sky. Somewhat similar signal here from Carlton Davis III to the safety at the other side. I think he's making a cut call, take the first crosser. Watch the reactions to each of the players post-snap. So this tight end is going across here like it's F counter. I believe that Kirby Joseph is responsible for him, hence why Kirby Joseph goes in that direction. Number one. Number two, Kenneth Walker III late will go out here after the play action. Watch Jack Campbell redirect to orient himself and or Kirby Joseph, who's walked up into the box. These guys have signaled to each other. Just to illustrate it one more time, it's 12 personnel. I think that's how you're matched up. You can't see the corners. They are off screen for you guys. My apologies. I've kind of blown up the screen a little bit. Anzalone's guy. It's a well-designed play. It's a long way for Anzalone to go because he's got a run fake coming directed to his side. It's lead zone concept, really well blocked. We're going to talk about this 4-eye here in a moment. We'll give you the end zone angle so you can see it. The receiver's going to go get Jack Campbell. And you see there's a huge collision. I think it's Bobo, who's a physical guy, big receiver. And then Kenneth Walker III is able to slalom back out to the outside, the end zone angle here in a moment. But this is what you get. Corner going down to try to pin Jack Campbell. You get a big collision somewhere in this area here. Number one. Number two, the tight end is working out to, I think it's Nowaski. Looks a little light here in terms of being expanded. And then finally, your 4-eyes being pinned by the right tackle. Well, he's already pinned kind of by alignment. So there really is no one to fill the ink in terms of who should handle it. It's one of the ways that you can attack a 4-eye. Pin down. Bring a second guy through, whether it's a fullback or a tight end, through that lane. And in this case, he doesn't actually go get Jack Campbell the way I have it drawn up. He goes to get a third-level defender. Ends up being the corner. It's Barner, seals him off. And Kenneth Walker III's off to the races. I didn't think anyone played well defensively for large stretches of that Lions game, but we're talking about Jack Campbell. He gets juked here by Tyler Lockett up to the top side. Kind of doesn't surprise me. I'm not sure if it surprises you. Lockett from trips. Geno Smith stepping up, makes a really nice throw over the middle of the field. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Geno Smith played well that night, did some, spectacular things. Motion to trips from the tight end, Barner. Lockett is the outside receiver. He's going to begin to settle somewhere in this area. Campbell kind of goes to, I don't want to say jump it, but Campbell kind of overreacts to it. And then as a result, once he overreacts, Lockett bounces that route back to the middle of the field. Geno Smith's able to find him. Pocket kind of collapsing a little bit. It's at least been compressed on him. Lockett gets over the top of Campbell, who still makes a great effort, but has been beaten at that point. It shouldn't surprise you. It certainly doesn't surprise me. An example of how easy it was to pin down the Lions defense a couple of times in that game. This is going to be a big run by Kenneth Walker III, I believe. 23 yards. Look at how they're pinning Anzalone, trying to get alignment up to Jack Campbell, pulling alignment out to the edge. So it's pin-pull concept, essentially. Campbell was able to get past 57, but there's no force in the third quarter where Seattle really started to get things going with the run game after a really porous first half. So I think it's Onwuzurike is a C-gap player here. You got a nose or a shade in this A-gap. Onwuzurike allows himself to be reached, which kind of encourages or influences that large space there. And not only he didn't really get reached by the tackle, he got reached by the guard, which is unconscionable. That just can't happen. And then 57 gets up to Campbell. Campbell's able to peel off of it. I'm not sure who would make this, but nonetheless, you'd like to see Jack Campbell press the line of scrimmage more and make the tackle if he wants to be at the level that he wants to be at. You've got two breakdowns on that play, independent of Campbell, if you ask me. Interesting play here early in the game against the Cowboys, Week 6. Campbell here, CeeDee Lamb at the bottom side here, in the backfield as a running back, which I think is interesting, number one. Number two, it's actually Campbell and Robertson who make the tackle or make the play. I guess Dallas searching for guys who can have an impact in the run game. Aaron Glenn does this a lot, by the way, with a nickel defender to trips or to twins, going to blitz him off the edge. I think Campbell is holding still for a moment, meaning being patient, because he knows that Robertson is blitzing, number one. Number two, he could have an RPO in here behind him, so he can't just leave. He shouldn't go until he knows, and whatever the coverage is, I think he's playing it correctly. I think he's playing it well. Credit to Amik Robertson for being a guy who's willing to get in there and stick his nose in it. Really nice play here by Campbell on a screen to Dowdell to the bottom side of the field. He's not matched up in man very often. Not sure that this is necessarily man. I just think he sees it and reacts to Dowdell. Dak looks to this side initially and then comes back to the screen. Almost a little bit of a lofted throw, but he's got pressure on him. I believe it's McNeil, but I might be wrong. Dowdell with the catch, and you can see Campbell has defeated the block, meaning he didn't touch the right guard, but he's gotten there before the right guard, so he can't be cut off from an inside-out pursuit. Dowdell is unable to stretch it out to the edge, and I think it ends up being a 2 or 3 yard gain. Really nice play on a 2nd and 8. Awesome job, if you ask me, by 3 guys here. Hutchinson, Campbell, and then Brian Branch. We'll let it flow through one time so you guys can see it, and then kind of break it down from the all-22 in the end zone. Campbell taking on the right guard. Branch closing in from the backside. Hutchinson having defeated the tight end's block as well. 1, 2, 3 contact. Hutchinson, Campbell, and then Branch as the finisher. I think it's notable, this play and some others in here, how efficiently Jack Campbell attacks lead blockers and then keeps his body in position to redirect or reorient to the ball carrier. He's got great gap integrity. You can see him press the guard off of him, frame him up with the left arm to basically create separation. Hutchinson, Campbell, Branch, 1, 2, 3, hold Ezekiel Elliott to a 1 yard gain. End zone angle, same play. Under front, one of my favorite fronts in all of football. 9, 5, 1, or a shade 3, and then a 5, or whatever you want to call it. A 6-eye backside. Or 7 backside, excuse me. Campbell flowing over the top. You got a punch combo here on Anzarike. Reader is winning to his gap side. Shouldn't surprise anybody. Anzalone is not able to get to his gap, which is this backside gap. As a result, Hutchinson has to close down on it. Campbell presses. Beautiful football from a run defense standpoint, if you ask me. I'll let it flow through one more time just so you guys can appreciate it. I'm trying to pause it at certain times to annotate and describe some of the things I'm seeing. If I'm pausing the play too much, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Cover 3 here against Dallas. Campbell, Anzalone. I like this play from a coverage standpoint for Detroit because Amik Robertson motioned all the way across, and then they played cover 3. So I would be interested. I never get the chance. Probably never get the chance to be able to talk about these things. But what would have with anyone that would be in the room, like creating these game plans? I'm wondering how they would have played the cover 3 if Robertson and this receiver had stayed here. My guess would be Kirby Joseph spin down, Brian Branch roll to free safety, curl flat, hook to curl, hook to curl. A little bit wider space in there between Anzalone and Joseph than the way I have it drawn up. But motioning across to play and making it look like man and then playing cover 3, I think is important. It's important to change the look on people. Campbell here hedged out to the tight end. They've got him basically out leveraged on the inside and the outside. It appears to me that that's where Dak Prescott is looking, with the potential for CeeDee Lamb to be targeted. Dak has moved off his spot, checks down to the running back Dowdell, and there's Anzalone and Campbell together. Really nice play, if you ask me, an illustration of how inside linebackers can be sound in coverage and then work together from a leverage standpoint in terms of how they tackle. One guy on the running back's left shoulder, one guy on the running back's right shoulder. Some people call it vice, whatever you want to call it. It's just nice leverage and understanding and awareness of where your tandem, where your partner is to help you out. I like this play from an awareness standpoint. I think it's a Tampa 2, at least from what they're asking Campbell to do. It's 3rd quarter, the game's over at this point. It's like 34-6, 34-9, something like that. Campbell is opening to the strength call, and he would get depth if this tight end was to run a vertical. And I believe he'd be running in the middle of the field in, to me, what looks like a Tampa 2, where you have a corner in the flats, a half-field safety, and then Campbell responsible for a middle third. Doesn't work out mathematically, half, and then 1/3. But basically, a Tampa 2 is really just a cover 3 disguised as a cover 2. Campbell doesn't have to match a vertical because Jake Ferguson didn't run vertical. I actually like that. I wouldn't want to see him get too high, give up too much space, and that happens. Even at the NFL level, some of these inside linebackers are so, I don't want to say scared, but they're so cognizant of the verticals, they'll get too much depth, and then a tight end or a receiver will bring the route in and just sit down in that space underneath of their coverage umbrella. In this case, Campbell's ready to match the vertical. He's got the athleticism and the speed to do it, in my opinion. Doesn't have to because Campbell just sits down. As it stands, Campbell is able to get involved with the tackle once again with Anzalone to limit CeeDee Lamb to a 5-yard gain. I think he's playing better than he's given credit for. I understand you may have a different opinion, or some other content creators may. That's no problem. That's why I try to present balanced film. So what I mean is try to present instances of players making tackles against the run or against the pass. And in the case of Jack Campbell, like this play in particular, hedging to one side to basically close off, I believe, close off Stafford's second option, which would be Puka Nacua back on the in cut with Campbell recovering, and Stafford gets to his third read very quickly. It happens that fast. It's that difficult. The standard to be really good at it at NFL level is extremely high. Does Jack Campbell meet that standard all the time? No. In the pass coverage, I don't think he does. He's not nearly as poor or inconsistent at it as many Lions fans, even in comment sections, have offered, and some of the rating services describe. Basically, I don't think they know shit about some of the coverages that they evaluate. And if they do, they should put out a play-by-play evaluation that tells you what the inside linebacker, what the nickel defender, what the Sam, etc. did wrong on a particular play. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But you don't get play-by-play gradings for these players. What you get is, at the end of the game, a numerical grade that is supposed to represent the totality of their play for the game, and then their run defense and their pass defense. To my knowledge, well, I don't subscribe to PFF, but I know people who do, and they have told me that you don't get a first quarter, 10 minutes and 30 seconds left, 1st and 10, run play to the right, 3-yard gain, and they give you the grade for Jack Campbell on that play. Absent me seeing those things, I'm going to continue to ignore those rating services because I don't trust them, number one. And number two, when I have sat down to listen to those people talk about inside linebacker play, they have no effing clue what they're talking about. You guys have to let me know what you think of those thoughts. The film that I showed that I think is a representative sample of Jack Campbell's play so far in 2024. And let me know in the comment section if you agree with my complaints there at the end about the rating services that everyone trusts automatically without questioning at all. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study look at Jack Campbell's play through 5 games of the 2024 season, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.